It's time for the Steve and Kyle podcast with Steve.
The final dagger, and I kind of regret sending it, was about 2 hours later.
This one hurt.
When I sent a picture of a new 4K TV hooked up on my fireplace. Anytime you want. Come on by.
I actually considered sending you a picture of my printer and saying the same thing. Hey, man, anytime you want to print wirelessly, you come on by.
And Kyle.
Welcome back, Laser 106. Happy Laser Zap today to actor Joe Keery from Stranger Things. Also, happy Laser Zap to Kelly Clarkson. She's turning 39 today, Steve. Is that it?
The song just started, yeah.
So I got 2 birthdays in. I didn't even get to do a time check.
You got 2 what in?
2 Laser Zaps.
Now, here they are, 2 guys who are living in style, Steve and Kyle.
Happy Laser Zap, everybody.
Always a treasure trove in there. Always appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Digging deep.
Yeah, we'll have to throw a couple of them in for a flashback coming up soon.
Yes, for sure, for sure. I neglected for the past, we've had a busy 3 or 4 weeks here, Steve.
Oh, yeah. Tons of stuff going on here.
And I've neglected to bring this up to you. I asked you some time ago if you remembered, and boy, this was an answer filled with romance, when I asked you if you remembered the church you got married at.
Yeah.
And it took you a while.
I couldn't remember the name of it.
Gave me a couple of incorrect answers. Well, seemingly incorrect. I didn't know. That's why I was asking.
Yeah, I gotta remember. Let me see here. I think that I know what it's called. I think it's.
But this was all discussed extensively years ago, leading up to your marriage, as you guys went through.
Mm-hmm. Of course, yeah, Lee Street Church.
The pre-marriage counseling.
Yes.
Mandated by Lee Street Church with our dear friend PK.
The man, the myth, the legend, PK. Pastor Kent.
Would it surprise you to find out that I went out of my way on someone else's wedding weekend
to reach out to PK?
To get an update on PK for you.
Really?
And I have a theory.
He's, now I believe he's retired. That was, I think the last we talked about him was that PK was, he had retired.
Sure.
To, I think he was into woodworking.
Uh-huh.
I remember him talking about that.
I have an update.
Oh, boy.
And I have a theory for you.
Oh, no. Is this going to make me sad?
It might make you sad.
Oh, Jesus.
Now, this is not store manager that...
Jack.
This is not store manager Jack that Steve gave the bird to in his very last interaction before he went, behind the condensed milk and had a grabber. Okay, it's not that level of sad. I think that's how that ended, right? With Jack?
No.
He said, clean up the milk. You said, pound sand, old man. And he went and had a grabber behind the oats.
Oh, no. How did you do a deep dive? How did you get an update on him when you didn't know? Like, all you remembered was PK.
Yeah, I knew his name, Pastor Kent. And I knew that I was the best man in a wedding taking place at Lee Street Church.
Were you?
Yes. I did not put that together. We talked about last week, Steve, how you're supposed to smooth over your brain, and that's what you're supposed to do is like fill in those crevices with good knowledge.
Yeah, with epoxy.
Mine aren't working because I did not know that's the church you got married. But my wife, bless her heart, intelligent as can be, with apparently a trap door for good memories that matter instead of Ace of Base, the sign.
Right. Which is just on repeat.
On repeat in my brain.
Constantly.
She remembered, that is the church that Steve and Annette got married at. And I said,
Now, did she remember it like when you were walking in thinking like, oh, this looks familiar?
Before.
Okay.
Before we even pulled up.
Now, when you walked in, did you say, so you wouldn't have known it?
Nope.
See, I remember where you guys got married, but only because I drive by it every single day.
Correct.
And I always think, oh yeah, Kyle and Katie.
Not to be rude. Also, I feel like all churches,
kind of look the same.
Exactly. Especially, at least on the inside. Like, and I know they're all different. Whatever. I'm not here to argue with you. It's, the movie theater style down the ramp with pews on each side, whatever.
Big vaulted
Yes.
Vaulted ceilings.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
got
I
a
was.
couple T's up on the wall, lowercase T's.
I spent a little bit of time at Lee Street Church and thought, you know what? I better see if I can get some intel.
Did you knock around? Did you go to some of the office?
I did not
and be like,
sleep
"Hey,
around
PK,
in Lee Street Church.
PK, you in here?
Did not, but I asked. The man who was marrying my friend and his now bride said, "How long have you been here?" I don't remember what he answered. That was the gateway to get to what I wanted to get to, right?
Sure.
It was the cordiality that I immediately washed through one ear and out the other.
Small talk. Yeah, yes. Awkward pre-wedding small talk.
To get to, and this was at the rehearsal, to get to what I wanted to get to, which was, did you know Kent? And he said, "Oh yeah, for a little bit. They kept in touch, whatever." And I said, "He's retired, right?" And he said, "Well, not really." He, according to this, I guess it's pastor, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
I apologize to anybody with a religious background for identifying them wrong.
Yeah, I would assume that it's
pastor, priest, reverend, father. I don't know, Steve. I'm sorry. Okay.
Right hand of the man.
That's right. That's the PBRF. Pastor, priest, reverend, father, right hand.
Right hand of the big J dog.
We're very quick digression.
Okay.
Yearly, I like to go. My mom and dad will go out to the grave sites of their parents, my grandparents, and put flowers out.
Yeah.
And I like to come along. I like to go visit and see the sites. Right.
Yeah. See the sights is a weird way to put it.
Check on the brass. Make sure the gravestones are still
a little spit and polish,
holding integrity.
Yeah. Take a little wire brush with you and scrape the dirt off of it. Maybe do some weed whacking around the edge.
As a somewhat serious side note, that is why we go. We trim this because it's a sad thing to see at cemeteries when either families of the deceased or whatever, there either aren't any more alive or they just don't go, and you see kind of buried headstones that you can't barely see. But so we went yesterday, and we brought Reed with us, who's a 5-year-old, and he wanted to go because last year this cemetery had they were giving horse carriage rides. What they do is bring people around if you're looking for a plot to buy to have your corpse buried in. And so we're just trying to keep him occupied, and while I'm kind of trying to get the muck and stuff away from the headstone, and there's statues and stuff because it's a very large cemetery. And I say, go run up there, go run over the hill and take a look at that statue. And about 30 seconds later, quiet cemetery. Okay, elderly people mourning the loss of their loved ones, flags flowing in the wind everywhere from the soldiers. And I see a 5-year-old standing on a statue, yelling 50 feet away, "Hey, Dad! I think this is Jesus!"
Jesus himself. Buried right here in our local cemetery.
He said, Yeah, you're right. He doesn't have any shoes. So anyway, we're not welcome back to that cemetery. So, but anyway.
Okay. All right.
We digress.
Yeah.
So at this church, I'm pending.
I'm nervous about the update that you're going to give on the pastor who
married you and your wife,
who married me and my wife.
Well, this shouldn't come as a shock because you guys did all that counseling. You're obviously keeping in touch, coming in with the marital problems.
Five different 1-hour meetings with him over the course of a couple of months,
and then obviously your semi-annual get together, which you tie in with the Art Van Furniture semi-annual sales.
Right. Yeah.
You see the commercial?
Yeah, we got to call PK. Let's see if he wants to meet us at the recliners. Hang out and catch up for an hour.
So,
oh boy,
I'm bending his ear a little bit, and he says, "Kind of." And it turns out, Steve, to rip the Band-Aid off.
Was PK forced out?
No, he's not deceased. He's not sick. He's not anything like that. He's not. It doesn't seem like he was forced out. It seemed like he had intentions of retiring, which
I remember
what
him.
He had told you.
I remember him saying that he was, it was on the horizon.
Yeah. So when and that's the last update I had on PK, was via you telling me that he was retired or retiring or whatever. And this was years ago.
Yeah, I think I remember. I don't know if it was like we might have talked about it here on the podcast,
yes, we did.
and I Googled it and saw that he was retired, and maybe Annette heard that he was retired.
Yep. So he said that he was drawn back in to help with filling in at multiple different churches over the years.
Okay.
Because the way he described it to me was that this will be the first summer he's actually been retired.
Really?
So I guess he's been filling in at all of these other churches and all of these other to help, whether it be transitioning, traveling. Do they have, like traveling nurses? Do they have traveling fathers?
Kind of like when a teacher retires from teaching full time, but they'll still sub here and there a couple days a week just to kind of keep their brain sharp. All right.
Yes. So it sounds like this summer though, PK is finally officially out of the fathering game.
This is the summer of PK.
The summer of PK. Check your golf courses. Check your local bocce ball facilities.
I think for him it was like check your local Home Depot lumber yard.
Okay.
Because I think he was going to be doing a lot of whittling and lathe work. He was really into woodworking.
So here's my theory, and here's my question to you.
Okay, so this is where it gets, because up until now, I'd say everything's on the up and up.
Yeah, and I don't think there's anything regarding PK that's not on the up and up.
Okay.
So my question to you is, being the last intel you guys received was that he was retiring, calling it a career in the fathering industry, could not handle it anymore, was ready to hang up the sash and the chastity belt or whatever they wear nowadays. I don't know what they wear.
Yeah, now that he's retired, he's allowed to have sex.
Yeah. So he's got all those like divots in his leg because that's what you're supposed to do, right? Isn't that the religion? Or to get away the bad thoughts, like you tighten the belt so it hurts you to get the bad thoughts away?
Yes, of course.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So if he retired and you were aware of it, that was relatively, or he told you his intention to retire, are you willing to entertain the thought today that your and Annette's marriage drove PK to retirement?
I mean, I can't make it. In my mind, I can't draw a parallel. I can't draw a connection between the two of them. So I'm not willing to say that.
This man who sat with you for what you said was 5 1-hour sessions, where you guys relived the crockpot argument, the vacuum argument, the
drywall carrying argument,
and I would say by hour 3, when he had, an extra cup of the blood or whatever that's actually wine on Sunday Mass, and knew that 2 p.m. Stephen and Ed are coming through.
Yeah,
and he said, "You know what? I have to retire. I cannot do this any further." I think you were a potential catalyst.
Okay.
To drive PK from the ministry. But then once he announced that, right? He said, finally, the burden, I've been unburdened. The weight is off of my chest. Mm-hmm. No more Steve and Annette. No more radio talk. Because I'm guessing, you guys were chatting radio.
Yeah, of course. Whenever I walked in there, I said, "Hey there, PK. How are you?"
You guys were chatting musical instruments. And PK thought, this is it. This is the lowest of the low.
Can't do it anymore.
I've rehabilitated drug users.
Mm-hmm.
I've brought families from third world countries to safety. But it was us. But if I have to endure one more hour of the doldrums of Steve and Annette, I'm going to booze.
Yeah, I guess I can't say for sure that.
Well, hear me out.
Oh, yeah, okay.
He gets far enough removed from this that he realizes there is a light in being a member of the ministry.
Yeah.
That it's not all terrible. It's not all Stephen and Annette's. There are the bright side, right? Mm-hmm. So he decides, I can't retire.
Yeah.
And that has led to the next 5 years of him filling in and volunteering to go anywhere but near you guys.
So he left thinking that
He left thinking there's no hope.
He just didn't want to run into us again.
I'm just saying, I think there was some responsibility on your guys' end for PK leaving, coming back, but not to you guys.
Okay. Well, I mean, I hadn't thought about that. So I guess I'll have to give that some thought.
I would like to hear Annette's thoughts. If you could ask her maybe later, like, did you know PK retired but didn't really retire? Did you hear back? And finally, how I'd like to see this resolved is I'd really love the bi-decade check-in.
Okay.
The semi-decade check-in.
So you want us to get in touch with him?
Love to see a message sent out to PK.
Maybe see if he's doing any of his preaching this weekend.
Well, obviously, yeah, it won't be here because, again, just as far away from you two as humanly possible.
Mm-hmm. I'm impressed though that you did the dirty work. You dug to see what PK was up to.
And let me tell you, this guy's a dullard. The guy I talked to, woof.
Is that he's the PK replacement?
No, he's a nice guy, nice man. Yeah, that's PK. Looks like he retired from that church in 2020, but obviously, as we talked about, gave notice shortly after November
2017.
Time to see how wrong everyone else is. It's poll recap time. Find the polls at Steve and Kyle on Facebook and Twitter.
Not so much on Facebook anymore, Melissa.
We'll get old. We'll get Zuck to bring us back.
Have we checked in recently to see if that's...
I have not. No, okay. That would be important to do. As a quick aside, as I scroll past our social, Steve, do you have, while I get us back to the start of our polls that I need to get us caught up on, do you have any upcoming dates that we need to focus on maybe getting that fathead to in the near future?
Yeah, we have two. We have one, it's, let's see, about, from the time this episode publishes, about 2 weeks away, we are going to be in Green Bay. Okay, that's actually going to be next week. We'll be in Green Bay.
Oh, that's right.
June 14th. We have a live morning and live night show. So this episode comes out on the 4th? Okay, so we still got time. This episode will be out on the 4th. We are going to be in Green Bay the 14th, June 14th, for live shows at Epic Event Center. Live morning show, live night show. So if you're going to be at either of those events, we'll also post this on social. So by the time you're listening to this, we may already have somebody to hold the fathead. And then the final trip of the year is Kokomo, Indiana. That is not until mid-August. Perfect. But if you're going to be at the show on the 16th of August in Kokomo, Indiana, just let me know. And it's always good to have a plan in place early, and we will ship the fathead off to you.
Yes, yeah, I love knowing and being somewhat prepared. Not regarding the Green Bay show, but regarding the Kokomo show. Would love to have someone on board who's going to be there, willing to hold that thing loud and proud. Very much unlike our friend, Mr. Thornsberry, who was apparently filled with shame and holding it by his feet at the show in Wilkes-Barre.
Yes.
Apologies for not remembering.
That's all right.
Scroll back quite a way, Steve. I'm gonna. If these ring a bell to you, please stop me, and I'll just skip forward. Should Steve turn the studio into an indoor inflatable hot tub room?
Why? It doesn't matter.
79% of the audience said yes.
All right.
Is Kyle known for lifetime grudges?
Absolutely.
I don't know if this has ever happened.
100%.
100% of the vote said yes.
Yes.
Is it more like ha 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 or boo hoo hoo? 63% of the audience. Ha ha ha.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Can you hold being cheated on with a busboy in your 20s as a grudge for your lifetime?
All right, so we're going back.
That's a couple of weeks in a row now. We've gone ahead and really dug some little chunks out of your skin to get closer to your soul. There's last week we talked extensively about the drywall incident that made your future wife cry.
Yep.
But as we won't find out this week, but as we have come to find out, can the trauma beat the yeller? You said you were not traumatized.
The trauma.
84% of the audience, Steve, said yes. You can hold that.
Really?
As a grudge for your lifetime. I'm actually surprised you haven't.
I feel good about that one. I feel good about that.
5 years ago, you answering differently?
No,
What's the cutoff for
I
you?
think by that point I was over it too. I would say for the first 5 years after that. So that would have been 2004, 2005 to, by 2010, 2011, I was over that.
Really?
I was in the rear view.
Better man than I.
I know.
Is Janine always the responsible one?
No, not in this case. Janine, I hold a grudge. I hold a grudge
you
against.
You hold the judge against grudge?
I hold the grudge against Janine, and she wasn't even the cheater.
Yeah, she wasn't even in the corner booth.
She was like the cheatee by proxy.
Yeah, and as we know, she can't be traumatized by that.
Yeah.
She's the cheatee.
She's the cheatee.
By proxy.
Who ended up marrying the bar owner.
That's right.
She got plowed in the booth just like Kim did.
Just by someone in a position of power. Not a busboy.
No.
I know we have it on the list because eventually we're going to come back to the topic because I still would love to get, I need to get Kim on for a Ray connection. But the only way I want it now is you and me, Kim.
Yeah.
Possibly the busboy. But definitely Janine.
Well, I'm not going to make that request, but I would be happy to forward the information to you.
For the busboy or Janine?
For the busboy, Janine, or Kim.
Oh, no. You're in good spirits with Kim. No issues. You can reach out. No problem.
No, I'm not going to.
You've already spoken to her.
I've already spoken to her, but it's a lot different because I personally, it is case closed. I have nothing else to gain from this.
Oh, no. We're gonna unwrap this thing like an onion.
I am happy to pass along the info to you. If you would like to coordinate with Kim to be on this podcast, happy to do it. Happy to do it.
What do you think the odds are if we get Kim on that it opens it back up, that you're not as okay with it after talking to her as you are right now? Do you think that's a possibility?
Well, I mean, I guess it is a possibility if I find out about other stuff that I didn't know about.
Well, what did you
like
find out
if
that
she
had
were
been going on for like 3 months in the corner booth?
I mean, honestly, I'm over it.
Plowed once, plowed 20 times. What's the difference, right?
Yeah. I mean,
19 would be the difference, but you know.
Yeah, like in that instance, no, I don't think it would bother me.
Okay.
I'm obviously well past that point in my life.
But Janine, you'd be okay if I got her on. Would you let it? Would you let her have it? Even 15, 18 years later, whatever it was?
I think I'd have some questions.
Yeah,
I'd say, hey, why would you do that?
Yeah. Why'd you get mad at me?
Why would you convince... I know that, you know, sisters before misters or whatever. But,
come on.
But I never did her dirty like that.
Not only did we have a record on this week's polls,
yeah,
it happened twice.
Really?
100% of the audience said yes. Boy. Janine is the responsible one.
No, not at all.
Obviously, that's incorrect. Do you wipe away the crab legs from booth 14 before you cheat there?
Okay, I see what we were talking about this week.
73% of the audience said yes, you do. You got to wipe away the crab legs. Should there be bullet-pointed texts? 83% of the audience said yes. Should the podcast have a presence at the gathering of the Kyles in Kyle, Texas in May?
Oh, boy.
93% of the audience said yes. We did. You're welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Can't wait for next year. Scrolling up, we got this was in the midst of all of the poll badness. Are bronze medals made up of car accident leftovers and stamped by child labor? 83% of the audience said yes. Is Steve the villain in the romantic comedy? I think we came back to it, and I think we found out that maybe
this was on
her
me.
And the bus boy were the couple meant to be, and you were the one holding,
okay.
being the lazy deadbeat back at home, you know.
Yeah.
74% of the audience said yes, Steve's the villain. Is Janine always the rat? 93% of the audience said yes.
Okay. Good. Yeah, good.
Can Kyle hold a secondhand grudge?
Absolutely.
93% of the audience said yes. Thank you.
I think you could go third, fourth,
I don't know if that's
maybe
permission
fifth,
or if they're just saying like, yeah, he could do that.
But do you hold a grudge towards Kim?
Yes. I don't like what she did to a person I've known.
Do you hold a grudge towards Janine?
Oh, I think Janine's the rat. No question.
Because then that's an interesting dynamic, because now you're like second grudges twice removed.
Right. No, that's true. Listen, in the scheme of things, if you had to have me in this situation rank grudges, only one of them had the restaurant flats, 8 feet in the sky. Okay? In booth 14 after wiping away the crab legs. Mm-hmm. The other one was merely a culprit by proxy in terms of after the fact chicanery.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Being rude to you. And so, yeah, I think the way Janine acted made her a rat, which is why that poll got posted. But overall, the blame has to be on Kim.
Okay.
No, for me.
See, this, like I said, I'm not going to be the one to get her on my ex-girlfriend from 20 years ago. I will not be the one to reach out to her. But if you would like to, I'd be happy to get you guys in contact with each other. And then just to get her on the phone, say, hey, Kim, how are you? It's been a long time. Hope you're doing well. And then just back away from the microphone.
Kim, why are you a lying disaster of a person? Now, some interesting ones here. Would you rather be a Kim, Kyle, or Steve in this situation?
In what situation?
This. 41% of the audience would like to be Kim.
Okay.
I guess, would you rather be the cheater or the cheatee, if that's the way you're looking at it, or the 20-year later friend who's upset on your behalf?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess someone was getting enjoyment out of it, and the other one wasn't.
Yeah.
The other one's 20 years late. So.
That's a good point.
41% of the audience said Kim.
All right.
And you and I tied with 29 points. So I'm as good as a cuck.
Wait, so I'm the cuck, right?
Did you get cucked in this situation?
And she's the cucky?
Wouldn't she be the cuckold?
Or cucker. I don't know, man. I don't know all the terms.
Would you rather be a Kim or a Kyle in this situation? 57% of the audience said Kim. I don't know why Kim's getting all the sympathy on this.
She's
podcast.
Cleaning up.
Well, in more ways than one. What was the busboy's nickname? 37% said Floppy the Big Ear Idiot. 63% of the audience said Big Dong Johnson.
Of course. Big Dong Johnson, right?
That's
right. Okay.
Should ChatGPT write Kyle's best man speech? It did not. It would have been just as good. 93% of the audience said yes. Is a pot roast a Sunday only meal? Yes. 77% of the audience agreed. Steve, they said yes. Mm-hmm. Is Kyle hating the meat smoking community surprising? 83% of the audience said not at all. Is Steve the clubhouse leader in TV incidents? 82% of the audience.
Did I have another one? I don't remember.
Said yes. I think this was adding to your bedroom. When you added it to your bedroom.
Okay.
I forget what happened on that one.
I don't remember either.
Can little Johnny take out a loan? 54% of the audience said yes. Do you ever want to be accosted with Tootsie Rolls for dollars? 77% of the audience said no. Make it a quality candy or leave me alone.
Yeah.
We're going to steamroll these, scrolling past a lot of the poll badness. Do you just need to turn the sprinklers on the 50-year-long fire? 92% of the audience said yes.
So the mine fire in Pennsylvania.
Do fingers of newt make a burger spooky?
What? Fingers of newt?
Yeah, probably something they put in like a witch's cauldron or something. 67% of the audience said yes, they do. Mm-hmm. That's a spooky burg. Can you put a small wooden Gothic church in the dishwasher?
Okay, I know. Oh, all right, I know where we are now.
56% of the audience said no, you can't do that. Is aioli the most Italian condiment? 54% of the audience said no.
Aioli.
I'd be curious what the other, what the clubhouse leader for most Italian condiment would be.
Gabagool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a condiment, but
that's what I mean. Like
Italians,
if you're thinking, if you were to line up all your condiments, right, from Frank's Red Hot all the way to aioli and everything in between.
By the way, we got a bottle of Mayo Racha up in the
really?
Up in the fridge.
Yeah,
it's pretty good. Pretty good.
Did aioli jump the shark? 83% of the audience said yes, it did. If the burger doesn't fit back in the church, is the design a problem? 85% of the audience said yes. Is Steve coming home to an empty house known as the foreshadowing?
Well, you really enjoy talking about my impending single life.
It's not even talking about, I just appreciate a funny poll that leads to sadness. 85% of the audience agree with me, though. And they say, yes, it is. Would you attend the Steve and Kyle podcast first and last ever golf outing?
Oh, yeah. I thought about that the other day.
Yeah, we should do that. We should do it for September. Mm-hmm. September podcast golf outing.
Yeah.
59% of the audience said yes, they would attend. Higher number than I thought. Okay, one more scroll here. Do you ever book a Spite concert?
Spite concert?
Couldn't pull.
No idea what that's about.
Yeah, 80% of the audience would not do that. And boy, we've got the winner of Poll Bands 2024. I believe this is the last one we have here, Steve. What was a bigger inconvenience? 52% of the audience said the extreme makeover home. Just beating out the Pimp My Ride car. Does everyone know who Drinking Problem Ty is? 67% of the audience said no. That's Ty Pennington.
Yeah.
Drinking Problem Ty. That's how he's referred to as his family.
DPT.
That's right. Is the plutonium ever included? 74% of the audience said no. Do you find the best dozer deals at dozerdeals.dig? 75% of the audience said yes. Obviously, that's a dumb question.
What were the brothers' names?
Donnie? I forget. Did Steve buy a bulldozer? 56% of the audience thought yes, you did. I wouldn't have ruled that out either.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Is Steve a kid in the Dozer candy store? 86% of the audience said yes. Is Kyle a part of the Side Gigs Hall of Fame induction? 63% of the audience said yes.
Oh, good.
Thank you. I can't wait to be there.
Yeah, book your flight.
Where's it at?
Nashville.
Think I can get in and out of there in 80 minutes?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Can you contribute a 5-gallon bucket to the Radio Hall of Fame? 78% of the audience said yes. That's what I used to crack the door open when the AC didn't work when I was board hopping the side gig one day.
Yep.
Just to survive. Will Kyle be in the Podcast Hall of Fame as an early innovator?
Yeah, I think you're a trailblazer.
I was 2010. 2010 I was doing podcasts, okay? There's me and 15 other white guys. 64% of the audience said no. That's a gigantic bummer.
Yeah.
Would we go to that?
Podcast
Hall? They send us a note and they say, we're going to induct you guys. We can't believe you're still doing it and still losing money. Most people give up.
Oh, absolutely. I'd be there.
We're going, right?
I would be there. Yeah.
Do they do like a bust? Do we have to like replicate?
Probably not.
You don't think so?
No.
Just a plaque maybe?
No, not even a plaque. I'm thinking like a low quality JPEG.
Because I would like, now listen, we've had the idea we wanted to sponsor a bench in front of C.G. Johnson's home, hopefully made out of garage doors itself in Hartford City, Indiana.
Yeah.
I think there's something to be said about you and I recreating the bust of our very first logo. Me with a cigarette hanging out of my mouth. Mm-hmm. With the stars and moons bandana.
Yeah.
And they have to like recreate that for our inevitable Podcast Hall of Fame induction. Okay. Do we need to rent a Cybertruck while we're in Austin, Texas?
Oh,
73% of the audience said yes. And let me tell you, we looked.
We tried. We could have. I mean, it was a $600.
Oh, I think it was $1,100 for the day.
Was it really? I thought it was
because
$600
we would have had it delivered to us at the airport. So there were drop-off fees, it was nonsense. Mm-hmm. Do you have to take shingle integrity seriously? 77% of the audience said yes. Are Steve's weeping children a holiday tradition like no other? This was on Cinco de Mayo. What'd you do on Cinco de Mayo?
I don't know.
84% of the audience said yes, though. That is a tradition. Was our billboard a bigger deal than the eclipse? 60% of the audience, Steve, said yes, it was. And I agree. I agree. That is it. We are all caught up.
All caught up, boy.
On the polls. There's plenty more posted from this week and last week at Steve and Kyle on Twitter. Also, the big one, we're going to take this one. We talked about it in advance. Very to take this down the middle. Do you want us to continue Poll Badness every year on our social media channels and the podcast?
Yeah.
It's a decent amount of work. I'm not saying it's a prohibitive amount of work, but it's enough going on.
And it's one of those things that gets easier as we get further into it,
Correct.
Which is nice.
But based on the one mean person on YouTube, I decided we'd post this poll. Mm-hmm. We'll abide by it. We'll see if anybody else. We'll see if anybody would like to really put the nail in that coffin.
If nothing else, we are here to meet the demands of the people.
No question. No question. I wanted to ask you, before we get out of here very briefly.
Yeah, it's going to be a short one just because our record schedule has been a little wonky these last few weeks.
Getting caught up on, we've gone random weeks without seeing each other, and then we're spending, 80 minutes in Texas. And then we're across the street from each other at a parade, whatever. It's it's been a bit weird. I feel like we need to keep it flowing. So the coffers are empty right now.
Oh, completely empty.
But we can kind of project, when we'll have a number in there, right? Just based on kind of what we've seen go in there. In and out.
Yeah. What was that? Something just fell off the wall behind you.
Oh, that's terrifying. The Lucky Billy bar.
Oh, no.
After like 7 years, randomly falls off behind us. What's next? What should we get into next? Whether it's the traveling band.
I would say I really want to sponsor something.
Okay.
I think that we missed that opportunity with the Jeep Fest, but
we've reached out a couple times, though.
No, and they've always responded. They've been very quick to respond.
And I don't mean just Jeep Fest. I mean, we've reached out to the roller derby team. We've reached out to Jeep Fest. Yes, I do.
Jeep Fest. Jeep Fest wouldn't, in hindsight, wouldn't have worked out this year because it was the same day as Kyle Fest.
Yes.
So I guess we could have divided and conquered. Right. I could have gone to Jeep. Or, no, you obviously would have gone to Jeep Fest. I would have gone to Kyle Fest.
Gone and visited Austin.
And just held up a sign that said like Kyle in proxy or something.
Should we? Yeah. Can we sponsor? But I don't want to do anything local sponsor because, as we talked about, we're already the premier podcast within a 5-block radius of Steve's house. So we need to find a Jeep Fest.
Or, no, we need to find like a men's softball team in Nebraska.
That's it. That's what we're doing. We're going to find, but the only way to properly bring it home is we have to go to one of their games.
Okay. All right.
So
let's start digging.
Yeah.
If you have a sponsorship opportunity that, look, here's our list of demands. Mm-hmm. Our name and logo has to be printed on something that you're wearing.
Well, I would envision if this was to use the slow pitch softball team as an example, I would envision us being the sponsor. We would provide those shirts with our logo on it and give them to the team, right? And then pay their sponsor, pay their entry fee into whatever league they're no doubt going to win en route.
What do you think that is? A couple $100?
I mean, between the shirt and boy, we could probably do the shirts here, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Ship them out to the team,
possibly. I don't know how much that would actually save us. Might be easier just to
pay a printer. Okay, easy enough. That's all off-air minutia that we are happy to figure out if the right opportunity comes along. We're happy to sponsor your local endeavor, but
flag football team.
You got to have our filthy mugs on it.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, might be old logo, might be new logo,
and our website on the bottom. Underneath. We're not doing this for free. No free rides. It's actually costing us money. If you can, shocker. Send us your opportunities. I think that's a great idea. As we talk about possibly getting our the first and last ever Steve and Kyle podcast golf outing together, which I still think is a worthwhile.
I think it's a great idea.
Cause. I think it's important because, good God Almighty, have I thought about quitting this thing? If we don't have like that next big,
needs to be something.
The next anchor, right?
Yeah.
Like, hey, well, I can't quit now. We've got a trip to Texas in May. I can't quit now. We've got a golf outing. Can't quit now. Billy Two Guts has got, is hitting dingers for us in Omaha. in the Rex Slow Pitch League.
Those Billy Two Guts. Okay. All right. So, yeah, at Steve and Kyle, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram if you want to send us your sponsorship opportunities. Yeah, because if you don't, what do we got? 6 episodes left in us, maybe?
Swear to God, I'll delete this thing.
Apologies for the short episode this week. At least we didn't lose Robert, though.
Yeah, we'll be back on a normal agenda, a normal schedule, with probably a lot to get caught up on next week.
Yeah. So, again, at Steve and Kyle, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram for anything. If you want to send stickers for the sticker wall, I think we posted a picture recently of the most recent update to it. The address and everything is going to be in the show notes of this episode. Or if you have a sponsorship opportunity for us, boy, oh boy.
But I almost want
Can't wait to hear from you.
I kind of want to do, if we get a handful of them, to do pitches on air, much like Shark Tank, to where we have to decide which one we're going to invest our hard-earned money on right on this podcast.
Yeah, exactly. All right. At Steve and Kyle, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We will talk to you next week.